Hello everybody and welcome to Fair Rugby on Fair Sports. And the Springboks have just announced the South African A squad that will take on both Bristol Bears and Munster, as well as a couple of players from the Springboks who will drop down to the squad. But very much a new generation of players being brought in. A couple of recalls for some old Springboks who are sort of finding their feet again, trying to get themselves back in the system, and a couple of very interesting decisions. With a couple of very big and exciting youngsters being called up. And I must admit to being a little bit skeptical about the squad. I think there are a couple of selections which I think, for me, I'm not sure how they've kind of sort of made their way there so quickly. I think there are a couple of other players who on form should be there. But in general, it's a pretty nice squad. There aren't too many players who I think are undeserving to be there. I just think there are a couple of very unlucky players across the country who have missed out. Before we look at the squad, please do smash a like on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. Now, they named 19-person squad, not a 20-person squad, and that's because they named a 35-man squad for the Springboks instead of a 34-man squad. So it is still 54 players that are traveling overseas in the next couple of weeks. So this is what the squad looks like. So if we're looking at the props, Sampiru Mantanzima from the Bulls, Instuka Tsunu from the Sharks, Sadi Sandi from the Western Province, Stormers, and Morne Smith being named there. Jan-Hendrik Wessels, I don't even know if he's being named as a hooker or a prop. Very surprised to see Sadi Sandi in there. I think, for me, he still hasn't really kicked on at this level. Very exciting player. I've watched him since he was a school kid. But to get a call up here ahead of somebody like Carly Sardi, I cannot understand it at all. You've got somebody who's been dominating the URC for the last 18 months, been one of the best tight heads for me in the country for the last couple of years, and gets left behind in favor of someone he's played a reasonable amount at this level, but not starting and not for me really impressing, really sort of grabbing opportunities. So a little bit surprised at that selection. Even Morne Smith ahead of Carly Sardi, I think is a bit of a strange selection. I think Jan-Hendrik Wessels is very highly rated. I think I can see where the hype comes from. I still don't think he's really looked 100%. I wouldn't say comfortable. He's looked comfortable, but he hasn't, for me, looked particularly special just yet at this level. But he's been very highly rated, so they are sort of fast tracking because they see something there. Both Jake White and obviously now the Springbok management. Joseph Dwebo was pretty inevitable to be in there. Andre Hugo Fenter, very interesting to called up there. I think it had to be him. I think he has been very impressive and one for the future. Only one lock named in Ruan Nokia because there were so many locks named in the actual Springbok squad. So you'll expect the likes of probably Jason Jenkins, Marvin Ori, Iwo Salman Murat to drop down to the SAA squad and play there. You've then got Pepsi Buthelezi and Sikamboze Noche as the only loose forwards. I'm a big fan of Sikamboze Noche. Let's not get me wrong. I think he's a very nice player. I think that, I've been asking the Lions to try and go for him for a while. How he gets there, Van and Panke Horn in current form, I don't know. Doesn't start for the Sharks, comes off for the last sort of 25 to 30 minutes, maybe 35 minutes at a push. And for me, Franco Horn's probably been the standout 8 and one of the standout loose forwards in the first couple of weeks of the URC. I struggle to understand that selection. Looking at the scrum halves, Herschel Yankee, Snell Lahamba, Grant Williams, very exciting players. Herschel Yankee is very much under pressure to try and remake the squad, but I think Grant Williams, Snell Lahamba, very much being rewarded for the form they have shown. Jan Goosen in the SAA squad is quite interesting. I think a lot of people expected him to be involved in the box squad, so for him to drop down to the SAA squad, for me, it's the right decision. I think let him actually prove himself as opposed to just being fast-tracked. Johnny Lombard in there, very happy to see that. I think he does deserve it. I think he has started really well at the Lions. I think Jordan Henderson will be frustrated because I think he'll feel that if he had started well this season and played throughout, he would have been in this SAA squad. Apelele Fassi was a pretty standard pick. Cornel Hendricks, however, back in the system is very interesting because it obviously means that whatever the health issues that were preventing him from being selected have been sorted out, and he's once again back in the Springbok mix. And I think a year off from the World Cup, I think having him potentially available is very big for the Boks because he has been playing such good rugby for the Bulls, and he is someone you I think could sort of walk into a box side and be very comfortable. So I think that's a very good selection. Suleiman Hartzenberg, a little bit surprised about that, must admit. To have him ahead of a Leon Lanzas and Edward van der Merwe, for example, I think is quite harsh on them. He hasn't played much at this level, and I'd say he's had one or two really good games. He's also had a couple of games where he does look young and he does look like he's not ready for he's sort of adapting to this level. So again, I think Leon Lanzas and Edward van der Merwe will be feeling quite hard done by. not to be involved in the squad. Henco van Beek, though, I think has been inevitable for that selection. I think he will start outside centre. I think we'll see Cordell Hendricks at inside centre or Andre Esterhuizen. And I think Henco van Beek, if he plays, really well, and Jesse Creel, for example, picks up an injury, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Henco van Beek actually being capped by the Boks by the end of the tour. So mixed feelings about the SS squad. I like some of the selections. I'm a bit skeptical about some of the other ones. I want to know what you think down in the comments below. Please do smash a like on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steven. I'll chat to you soon.